In the bustling marble halls of Trump Tower, a young boy stood at the window, gazing down at the city that never sleeps. At just 10 years old, Barron Trump's world was about to change in ways few could comprehend. The year was 2016, and his father had just been elected President of the United States. In a single moment, this private, thoughtful child would step into history as the first presidential son to live in the White House since John F. Kennedy Jr. Standing at 5 feet 7 inches in 5th grade, Barron's physical presence already commanded attention, but it was his quiet demeanor that truly set him apart. While other children his age worried about homework and video games, he found himself navigating a world of Secret Service agents, international summits, and relentless media scrutiny. Yet behind those carefully guarded eyes lay a story of extraordinary resilience and personal growth that would challenge everything we thought we knew about growing up in the public eye. Known as Little Donald to his mother Melania, Barron's journey from the golden penthouses of New York to the historic halls of Washington, D.C. would test not just his character, but his very understanding of identity and purpose. Speaking 5 languages fluently by age 11, English, Slovenian, French, German, and Spanish, he possessed a worldview far beyond his years. But it wasn't his linguistic abilities that would define his path. It was his unwavering determination to carve out his own identity in a world that had already written his story before he could tell it himself. As the youngest Trump, Barron faced a unique challenge, maintaining his childhood while living under the world's microscope. Every school drop-off, every weekend outing, every family moment became potential headline news. Yet somehow, this young man found ways to preserve his privacy while simultaneously preparing for a future that would inevitably thrust him into the spotlight. His story isn't just about surviving in the public eye. It's about thriving despite it. The transformation of Barron Trump from a sheltered young boy to a poised young man offers invaluable lessons about resilience, identity, and the courage to define oneself beyond the shadow of a famous name. His journey reveals universal truths about growing up, finding one's voice, and maintaining authenticity in a world that constantly demands conformity. As we follow his path from Trump Tower to the world stage, we discover that sometimes the most profound growth happens not in the spotlight, but in the quiet moments between the headlines. His story begins not with fanfare or proclamations, but with a simple truth. Even in the most extraordinary circumstances, the human spirit's quest for self-discovery remains unchanged. This is the untold story of Barron Trump's journey, a testament to the power of personal growth in the face of unprecedented public scrutiny. Behind the towering walls of Trump Tower, Barron's early years were marked by a lifestyle few could comprehend. Born into extraordinary privilege, his daily routine involved private tutors, personal chefs, and an entire floor dedicated to his playtime and education. But when his father's presidential victory changed everything, Barron faced his first major life challenge. Waiting to finish his school year in New York while his father moved to Washington, breaking with tradition as the first family to live apart. This period of transition revealed Barron's remarkable adaptability. While most children his age struggled with changing classrooms, he prepared to change cities, schools, and his entire way of life. The decision to postpone the White House move, made primarily to maintain his educational stability, showed how his parents prioritized his well-being over political optics. It was during these months that Barron began developing the emotional fortitude that would define his journey. His multilingual abilities emerged not from pressure, but passion. Growing up with a Slovenian mother, English-speaking father, and exposure to international culture, Barron naturally absorbed languages like a sponge. His command of 5 languages by age 11 wasn't just an impressive statistic. It represented his unique worldview and ability to bridge different cultures. While other presidential children focused solely on American politics, Barron's international perspective gave him a broader understanding of his place in the global community. The media's fascination with Barron began early, but his parents' protective stance shaped his relationship with public attention. Unlike his older siblings who actively engaged with the press, Barron remained largely shielded from media exposure. This protection wasn't about hiding him. It was about giving him space to develop his own identity away from the constant glare of public scrutiny. His rare public appearances became carefully orchestrated moments, each one revealing a young man growing more confident in navigating his unique position. At the prestigious Columbia Grammar and Preparatory School in Manhattan, and later at St. Andrew's Episcopal School in Maryland, Barron faced the challenge of being treated as just another student, while carrying a name that made him anything but ordinary. His teachers noted his quiet determination and focus on academics, traits that would serve him well as he balanced his studies with his unprecedented position. Despite the constant presence of Secret Service agents, Barron worked to maintain as normal a school experience as possible, participating in sports and developing friendships based on genuine connections rather than his family name. The contrast between his private and public worlds became most apparent during state functions and official events. Here was a young man who could discuss international politics in multiple languages, yet chose to remain silent in public, learning the power of observation and discretion at an age when most children seek attention. His composed demeanor at these events didn't stem from rehearsal or coaching, but from an innate understanding of his role and the weight it carried. Living in the White House brought its own set of unique challenges. The historic residence, while impressive to visitors, became Barron's everyday reality. He adapted to life in what his mother called a museum with a lot of staff by carving out his own spaces and routines. The tennis court became his refuge, the private quarters his sanctuary, and the staff his extended family. Through it all, he maintained his New York roots while embracing his new role in Washington, demonstrating a flexibility that would become one of his greatest strengths. These early experiences laid the foundation for Barron's approach to life in the spotlight. The challenges he faced weren't just about adapting to a new home or school. They were about maintaining his authentic self, while the world watched and waited. His ability to navigate these challenges with grace and dignity spoke to both his character and the strong support system that surrounded him. As he moved through these formative years, Barron was quietly building the skills and resilience that would shape not just his future, but potentially the future of what it means to grow up in the public eye. Barron Trump's personal development has been nothing short of remarkable, marked by both physical and intellectual transformation that caught the world's attention. As he grew from a reserved young boy into a towering young man, standing at 6 feet 7 inches by his late teens, his physical presence became a metaphor for his expanding perspective and deepening understanding of his unique position in the world. The halls of St. Andrew's Episcopal School became more than just a place of education. They transformed into a training ground for balancing normalcy with extraordinary circumstances. While his classmates worried about typical teenage concerns, Barron navigated a complex world where every academic achievement or athletic participation could potentially become national news. His response to this pressure revealed a maturity beyond his years. Rather than shrinking from challenges, he embraced them with quiet determination. His relationship with his siblings offered another dimension to his growth story. Unlike his older brothers and sisters who grew up in a different era of the Trump family story, Barron's experience was uniquely solitary yet interconnected. The age gap between him and his closest sibling created a different dynamic, one where he could observe and learn from their experiences while charting his own distinct path. This position as the youngest allowed him to witness both the benefits and challenges of the Trump legacy from a perspective none of his siblings had. Technology and gaming, early interests that his mother once spoke about, evolved from simple hobbies into sophisticated pursuits. His understanding of digital platforms and social media became an asset, not for public engagement, but for comprehending the modern landscape of influence and privacy. Unlike many of his peers who struggled with oversharing online, Barron demonstrated remarkable restraint, maintaining virtually no public social media presence, a decision that spoke volumes about his maturity and understanding of digital boundaries. The development of his personal identity separate from the family name became particularly evident in his academic choices and extracurricular interests. Sources close to the family noted his passion for science and technology, interests that diverged from the real estate and business focus traditionally associated with the Trump name. This independent streak in his intellectual pursuits demonstrated his commitment to forging his own path while respecting his family's legacy. His mother Melania's influence on his development cannot be understated. Her emphasis on privacy, education, and maintaining strong personal boundaries helped shape his approach to public life. Under her guidance, Barron learned to balance respect for his family's public position with protection of his private sphere. This careful navigation of public and private life became one of his most notable achievements, demonstrating wisdom usually associated with someone far beyond his years. The transformation of his communication style also marked significant personal growth. While maintaining his characteristic privacy, Barron developed a measured approach to public interaction. When he did appear at official functions, observers noted his increasing confidence and poise. His ability to engage appropriately while maintaining personal boundaries showcased a sophisticated understanding of his role that many adult public figures struggle to achieve. Perhaps most remarkable was his development of resilience in the face of unprecedented scrutiny. Every growth spurt, every school change, every public appearance became fodder for media speculation and public commentary. Yet rather than allowing this attention to define him, Barron used it as motivation to strengthen his character. He developed what those close to him described as a quiet strength, an internal fortitude that allowed him to stay true to himself despite external pressures. His academic achievements, while deliberately kept private, reflected a commitment to excellence that transcended any expectations placed upon him by his family name. Teachers noted his genuine intellectual curiosity and willingness to engage with challenging material, traits that suggested his growth was driven by personal motivation rather than external pressure. As he matured, Barron's understanding of his unique position in history also evolved. Being the first presidential son to live in the White House since John F. Kennedy Jr. gave him a perspective few could comprehend. Yet rather than being overwhelmed by this historical parallel, he embraced the opportunity to learn from it, studying how other presidential children had navigated their public roles while maintaining private lives. In the complex theater of public life, Barron Trump's approach to handling attention became a masterclass in grace under pressure. Unlike many children of prominent figures who either sought the spotlight or crumbled beneath its glare, Barron developed a sophisticated strategy that prioritized authenticity while maintaining strict boundaries. His navigation of public scrutiny offered lessons in dignity that transcended his years. The media's fascination with him presented unique challenges. Every school event, every growth spurt, every public appearance sparked intense speculation and commentary. Yet Barron's response remained consistently measured. He neither sought attention nor completely shunned it, instead developing what family friends described as a comfortable discomfort with his public role. This balanced approach allowed him to fulfill his obligations while protecting his private space. His high school years at Oxbridge Academy in Palm Beach marked a new chapter in spotlight management. The school's administration worked closely with his security team to create an environment where he could experience normal teenage activities while ensuring safety. Through sports participation and academic engagement, Barron demonstrated that even under constant surveillance, authentic experiences were possible. His teammates noted his ability to be just one of the guys, despite his unique circumstances, a testament to his grounding influence and natural demeanor. Social media presented perhaps the most modern challenge to his privacy. In an era where digital presence often equals social existence, Barron's careful approach to online platforms spoke volumes. Unlike his peers who documented every moment of their lives, he maintained minimal digital footprint. This wasn't mere avoidance. It represented a sophisticated understanding of privacy in the digital age. His approach influenced many young people to reconsider their relationship with social media, showing that absence from these platforms could be a sign of strength rather than isolation. The relationship with his Secret Service detail revealed another dimension of his spotlight navigation. These agents, constant presences in his life, became more than security personnel. Sources close to the family noted how Barron treated them with consistent respect and appreciation, understanding their role while maintaining appropriate professional boundaries. This dynamic demonstrated his ability to transform potential constraints into positive relationships. Public appearances, though rare, showed increasing sophistication in his approach to media attention. Whether attending state functions or family events, Barron displayed a poised presence that neither sought nor avoided cameras. His height, which made him naturally conspicuous, became an asset rather than a burden. He carried himself with dignity that suggested comfort with his visibility while maintaining his privacy, a delicate balance few achieve at any age. School relationships proved another arena where his spotlight management skills shone. Classmates noted his ability to form genuine friendships despite his high-profile status. He achieved this through what one friend described as selective authenticity, being open and genuine with trusted individuals while maintaining appropriate boundaries with others. This approach allowed him to experience normal teenage social interactions while protecting himself from potential exploitation. The pressure of being compared to his siblings and father presented unique challenges. Yet Barron developed his own distinct public persona, neither rejecting nor completely embracing the Trump brand. His ability to chart this middle course demonstrated remarkable emotional intelligence and self-awareness. He showed that living in a famous family didn't require choosing between total absorption into the family identity or complete rebellion against it. His handling of public events evolved as he grew older. At formal functions, he demonstrated increasing comfort with his role while maintaining his characteristic reserve. This wasn't just about physical presence. It showed emotional maturity in understanding when to step forward and when to step back. His ability to read social situations and respond appropriately became one of his greatest assets in managing public attention. The way Barron handled unexpected media situations particularly highlighted his growth in spotlight management. Whether faced with unexpected photographers or public recognition, his responses remained consistently composed. This wasn't rehearsed behavior. It reflected genuine comfort with his position and understanding of his role. His approach showed that effective spotlight management wasn't about controlling every situation, but about maintaining personal integrity regardless of circumstances. As Barron Trump stands on the cusp of adulthood, his potential future paths have become a subject of intense speculation and interest. His unique upbringing, combining extraordinary privilege with carefully maintained privacy, has equipped him with rare perspectives that could shape his future endeavors in remarkable ways. Those close to him note his deep interest in technology and international relations, areas that diverge from his family's traditional business focus, while building on his multilingual abilities and global exposure. His academic trajectory suggests a young man preparing for a future that transcends the expectations placed upon him by his last name. Sources familiar with his educational path indicate his strong inclination towards STEM fields, particularly computer science and engineering. This technical bent, combined with his international background, positions him uniquely at the intersection of technology and global affairs. Unlike his siblings who followed more traditional business paths, Barron's interests suggest a future that could bridge multiple worlds: technology, diplomacy, and innovation. The influence of his formative years in the White House continues to shape his aspirations. Having witnessed global leadership at the highest levels during his developmental years, Barron gained insights into international relations that few his age possess. This exposure, rather than pushing him toward politics, appears to have inspired a more nuanced understanding of how technology and innovation can impact global change. His approach suggests someone who understands the value of influence beyond traditional power structures. Personal accounts from those who've interacted with him in academic settings describe a young man deeply interested in the intersection of artificial intelligence and social impact. This focus appears to stem from his unique position observing how technology shapes public discourse and personal privacy, experiences that have given him first-hand understanding of both the potential and pitfalls of technological advancement. His own careful management of digital presence suggests someone who could potentially influence how future generations navigate the balance between connectivity and privacy. The legacy of the Trump name presents both opportunities and challenges for his future endeavors. Unlike many in his position who might feel pressured to either embrace or reject their family legacy entirely, Barron appears to be charting a course that acknowledges his heritage while defining his own path. His approach to building his own identity, while honoring his family name, demonstrates a maturity that could serve him well in whatever field he chooses to pursue. Those who know him speak of his interest in entrepreneurship, but with a distinctly different flavor from his family's real estate empire. His vision appears to lean toward technology startups and innovation hubs, potentially combining his technical interests with the business acumen he's absorbed through his family background. This fusion of old and new, tradition and innovation, could position him as a bridge between different worlds of influence and impact. The impact of his multicultural upbringing, speaking 5 languages and straddling different cultural contexts, suggests potential for international ventures that transcend traditional business or political boundaries. His ability to move comfortably between different cultural contexts while maintaining his own identity could make him particularly effective in global initiatives that require both technical expertise and cultural sensitivity. Looking ahead, those close to him suggest that his future might involve creating platforms or initiatives that address the challenges he's witnessed firsthand, the intersection of privacy, technology, and public life. His unique experience navigating these waters during his formative years gives him insights that could prove valuable in developing solutions for others facing similar challenges in an increasingly connected world. His mother's influence on his character development suggests a future marked by careful consideration rather than impulsive action. This measured approach, combined with his technical interest and global perspective, points toward a future where he might influence society through innovation rather than traditional channels of power or celebrity. His potential lies not just in what he might achieve, but in how he might reshape expectations about the paths available to those born into high-profile families. As he moves toward defining his own professional identity, Barron's journey continues to reflect a thoughtful balance between honoring his heritage and forging his own path. His future potential seems to lie not in following any predetermined route, but in synthesizing his unique experiences, technical interests, and global perspective into something entirely new, potentially creating new models for how influence and innovation can work together in the modern world. Growing up in the spotlight has gifted Barron Trump with insights that transcend his years, offering wisdom particularly relevant in our digital age. His journey reveals fundamental truths about authenticity, resilience, and the power of maintaining one's private space in an increasingly public world. These lessons, earned through experience rather than inherited, offer valuable guidance for anyone navigating the complexities of modern life. The first key insight from Barron's journey centers on the art of presence without performance. In an era where many feel compelled to constantly broadcast their lives, his measured approach demonstrates that impact doesn't require constant visibility. His selective public appearances, marked by dignity rather than drama, show how genuine presence often carries more weight than frequent exposure. This understanding, that one can be relevant without being omnipresent, offers a powerful counterpoint to current social media culture. His handling of immense pressure reveals another crucial lesson about personal development. Instead of allowing external expectations to define his path, Barron focused on internal growth, developing skills and interests authentic to his nature rather than conforming to predetermined roles. This approach to identity formation under scrutiny offers valuable insights for anyone feeling pressured to fulfill others' expectations rather than pursuing their own authentic development. The value of privacy in our digital age stands as perhaps his most significant lesson. While many of his peers struggle with oversharing and digital burnout, Barron's careful management of his private sphere demonstrates how maintaining personal boundaries can actually strengthen one's public presence. His approach suggests that privacy isn't about hiding. It's about maintaining the sacred space needed for genuine growth and self-discovery. Building resilience through challenges emerges as another key wisdom from his journey. Rather than viewing his unique position as a burden, Barron transformed potential obstacles into opportunities for growth. His ability to maintain composure under constant scrutiny while developing his own interests and identity demonstrates how pressure, when handled thoughtfully, can forge stronger character rather than breaking it. Perhaps most significantly, Barron's journey offers wisdom about the power of silence in a noisy world. His selective speech and thoughtful responses stand in stark contrast to the constant commentary that characterizes modern life. This understanding, that one's voice carries more weight when used selectively, offers valuable insight for a generation often pressured to have an opinion on everything. Barron Trump's journey from a young boy in Trump Tower to a poised young adult stands as a powerful testament to the possibility of maintaining authenticity in extraordinary circumstances. His story isn't just about growing up in the public eye. It's about the universal challenge of becoming oneself while facing external pressures and expectations. The lessons from his journey extend far beyond the realm of politics or celebrity. They speak to fundamental truths about personal growth, resilience, and the courage to chart one's own course. As the world continues to grapple with questions of privacy, identity, and authenticity in the digital age, Barron's approach offers valuable insights for anyone seeking to maintain their true self while navigating public pressure. For those watching this video who feel overwhelmed by the expectations of others or the pressure to constantly perform in public, remember that your journey of self-discovery is uniquely yours. Take inspiration from Barron's ability to maintain boundaries, develop genuine interests, and grow at his own pace despite intense scrutiny. The real power lies not in following someone else's path, but in having the courage to forge your own. Consider the areas in your life where you might benefit from setting stronger boundaries, pursuing authentic interests, or stepping back from the constant pressure to perform publicly. Your growth story, like Barron's, deserves the space and respect to unfold in its own unique way. This next chapter of your personal development starts now. Take that first step toward authentic growth, knowing that true impact comes not from meeting others' expectations, but from having the courage to be genuinely yourself.